Hello everybody and welcome to the Thaco Gamers. My name is Matt and I'm going to give you my review of the Oculus Rift. Coming up. So hello everyone and welcome. For those of you that have been following the channel, you know that I recently did an unboxing of the Oculus Rift when it went on sale for $399, and I'm going to do a review on it for you guys. First of all, I did want to say that I am going to do a review of the HTC Vive, and I'm going to do a comparison of the two, but this one here is going to be strictly on the Rift. If you want to see the other videos, they're not done yet because I'm doing this one first. But as soon as I get them done, I'll have a link in the description so you can check there if you want to see the other videos. If not, we'll just follow along with what we got right here. First thing I want to talk about with the Oculus is the setup. It actually went very smooth. It was very easy to do. Pretty much anyone with even a slight amount of computer skills are going to be able to set up the Oculus. You just plug in your sensors, find a place on your desk or whatever for them, plug in your headset, everything. You are going to want to make sure that you have enough USB ports. USB 3.0 is recommended. It also is recommended to not use a USB hub. I did test them on the USB 2.0, the sensors specifically, and everything seemed to work. I didn't notice anything personally, but they do recommend USB 3.0. So if you want it, make sure that you have plenty of those ports. And when you use a hub, if you have a bunch of things plugged into a hub, you're going to use up all the bandwidth there, and you're going to notice a lot of issues with that. I have actually read that using USB 2.0 is better than using a 3.0 hub and plugging everything into that. So next is the software. When we talk about how to set up the Rift, the next thing that you do, you install the software and you use that to run through the actual setup. And it's all cut and dry. It's nice and simple. It sets you up everything with tracing out the area that you have in your room and everything else. And it works. It's very easy to set up and very easy to get going. Also, the software is very intuitive. It's nice when you put the headset on. You know it's going to work. When you go through to pick games or browse the library, you're not having to take the headset off, look at the screen, fiddle with your keyboard, and do whatever else. You can do pretty much everything from inside the headset, which is super nice. Even if you're running games that are Steam games. Once you run the Steam game once and you allow it in the Rift, it's there all the time, and you don't have to dip back and forth between Steam, and you don't have to install Steam VR, which I was very happy with. Now, getting onto the hardware, the sensors themselves, if anyone watched my unboxing video, you know that I was kind of concerned as to where I was going to put those. And I actually, with a little bit of ingenuity, not really, but I used some Velcro, and I actually secured them to my wall. Instead of setting them on the desk, I elevated them. They're probably a good, 3 feet above my desk. And they're just stuck right to the wall, and I have had zero tracking or anything issues with that. I honestly think that my tracking seems to be better than what most people say that they get with the Rift. I don't know if this has anything to do with it. I did it just to get it off my desk because I have several monitors and a bunch of other garbage on there. So it worked out really well for me, and I'm very happy with it. You might as well try it if you're looking for, having space issues on your desk as well. Next is the headset. I went over some of this in the my unboxing, but once you get this set up to your noggin, see, I still have some of my peel tape on there. I like to leave that stuff on. But anyways, so once you get this set up, it's actually really nice. It's kind of spring loaded in here, and you can pull it on and snap it right onto your face. So it's nice that you don't have to be messing with straps all the time. I really like that about this. I'm just going to wear this while I talk. The built-in earphones are surprisingly good, much better than I thought they would be, and I have no desire to use any kind of separate headphones or anything else. These are more than enough for any of the games. I have zero immersion issues, and it's nice if you're in and someone wants to come in and talk to you, you can just flip this out of the way. Flip that right out of the way there, and your ear is exposed. Now, as far as its comfort, it's light, and it's super comfortable. There is one thing a lot of people have complained about, and I have had it happen too. The nose piece down here, like the bridge of your nose, every once in a while will let light through there. It's fixable. You just have to adjust it a little bit on your head, but I have experienced that, what other people have talked about. The one thing that it doesn't have, I wear glasses. I typically don't in my YouTube videos because they glare, But to wear glasses in here, it doesn't work very well, especially if you have thicker frames. So that's kind of a downside to the headset. But as far as comfort and everything else goes, I love how once you set this up, it's good to go. So it's pretty nice. I'm very happy with it. I'm surprised. But another thing about it is the whites in here tend to glare, and I almost want to say it looks like fog. If you have a game, especially with white text or anything like that, and I'm not sure why it's like this inside these, but you do get this, it almost feel like it's fogging up, but you look and it's not, and as soon as the whites go away, it's fine. I generally only notice this during menus and title screens. Most of the other time, no other issues with that. So it's not a showstopper. It's not a game breaker. It is kind of annoying at times, but not a huge deal as far as I'm concerned. The last thing that I want to say about the headset is that the cord, it's not super long. A lot of people have talked about this. I don't have huge issues with where I'm at because I am playing in my office down here, so I don't run out of space. But if you were playing this in a true room scale environment, you're going to be ripping cords out of the computer. So I have been told that the Vive's extension box does work with this, and I don't know why it wouldn't. It's basically just an extension cord for your USB and for your HDMI. The next thing we have is the controllers, and I got them on the wrong hands here. The controllers are amazing. I can't begin to tell you how much I love these controllers. And there's one thing about them that I didn't even know, and I've done a fair amount of research on these. These sense before you even put your hands all the way down on them. For instance, if you can see this controller here, this has a separate button here, a trigger, and like a grip button, and then your thumb. And as you bring your thumb closer to this, it senses it, and your thumb in the game will move according to that. If you just rest your thumb on there, the thumb is all the way down. If you pull the thumb off, the thumb will come off in the game. And the same thing with these sensors too. Not every game utilizes that. Most of them don't actually, but it's neat that they can. And you can point. Almost every game does some variation of this, but if you have this thumb down without pressing a button and point, your avatar in the game will point. If you do this and give a thumbs up, your avatar will give a thumb up. It'll do a full-on fist, and typically these three fingers will move with the grip button. So the sensing on these is really good. They feel so comfortable in your hands. I love the thumbsticks. Everything with this works as it should in the game, and I really like them. I was a little bit apprehensive about the size and the weight, but I really like these controllers. I have not a single bad thing to say about these controllers. They're great. They're really nice and extremely comfortable, and they respond so well. I have zero tracking issues. So very good. The touch controllers, the Oculus nailed it. These things are great. Now, the last thing to talk about with this is the games, the included software with it. Now, there's 6 games that come with it. There's Lucky's Tale, Oculus Medium, there's Quill, Robo Recall, Ripcoil, and Toy Box. And honestly, these all of these are very good. Lucky's Tale, I'm surprised, and I may or may not do an actual full review of the game just because it's so much later than it's actually been released. But Lucky's Tale is super cool, man. The clips that I'm showing on here don't really do it justice because it was a smaller screen. I had to enlarge it in OBS. So it's not pixelated like this. It's clear as a bell. And it is so fun. Being a previous room scale only VR gamer, it is so fun to sit there and follow this little guy because he's right here. He's right in front of you. And looking around, peering around corners and looking at stuff. And I never would have thought a platformer in VR would be fun, but I hope there's more of these. I am so excited. I was so excited to play this. I couldn't put it down. I played Lucky's Tale probably more than any of the other games that came with this because I just could not put it down. It was super awesome. Everybody says that VR is meant to be room scale. I am a firm believer that you can play these third-person, over-the-shoulder, or whatever games in VR now. The first thing that I tried to do after playing Lucky's Tale was to boot up Dragon Age with Vorpax. And it's just not the same. It doesn't work, and it's not nearly as fun or enjoyable. In fact, I have no use for that. But for games that are designed within VR, I would love to have a role-playing game that was just Dragon Age, where you're following your character around. You get to see everything. It's like being a god. It's like playing D&D, and the table is... It's cool, man. So I am now officially a proponent of third person adventure games, role-playing games, whatever, where you just sit back. You don't always want to stand up. Putting the headset on and playing those kind of games and just leaning back in your chair with a controller. I'm a fan now, and I wasn't before. I was a Vive fanboy for the room scale games up until that. So Lucky's Tale is extremely cool. The next two I wanted to talk about were Oculus Medium and Quill. These are basically two different variations of what you would get with Google. I think Google Blocks is the newest one, and Tilt Brush is the other one. And Quill is closest to Tilt Brush as far as being able to paint and be an artist and do whatever. Now, I have some clips of it on the screen here. I am not an artist, so don't look at what's going on here as what this is capable of. There's people that have been able to make extremely amazing things, which if you follow VR at all, you probably already know this. But I like Quill. The controls felt good. Everything felt good. It was more comfortable, I think, than Tilt Brush as far as manipulating the world. And Oculus Medium is a very similar concept. It's an art game, but it's more like you're molding stuff, like you're dealing with clay or something like that, and you can cut pieces out and shape them and smooth them and do whatever. So I did mess around with both of those and had fun with both of those, even though the creations that I made were pretty wretched. Next, I want to talk about Ripcoil. Ripcoil was pretty cool. It's basically Pong, but you are the paddle. You're this robot dude, and you zip back and forth on this floating disc, and you're basically playing Pong with a frisbee with a real player on the other side. That was surprisingly a lot of fun too. I really enjoyed it. I don't see a lot of lastability to a game like that, but there's so much trashware with virtual reality right now that this is actually rates pretty high among all that. Graphics were good. It was pretty fun. It was, it worked well. Is it something that I'm going to be playing for the next 10 years? No. But it was a nice, fun, gimmicky game to play, and I enjoyed it and played several games of it, not because I felt like I had to, but because I was enjoying it. Now, lastly, I want to talk about Robo Recall. I have a very small area in my office. I have my Vive upstairs in the living room where I have a lot more room for the room scale. I don't have that much room here. And Robo Recall nailed it for people that want to play games like that. You teleport to where you want to go by pushing the thumbstick forward, and then you rotate the thumbstick for whichever direction that you want to be facing. So it works out really well to be able to position yourself, but always be facing forward in your office or small area if you have one, so you don't get all wrapped up. Extremely cool. That game was so fun. The shooting, the way that they set it up with the catching the bullets, you can catch bullets and throw them back at people. The guns, the shotguns that you have, grabbing onto robots and ripping their heads or ripping their arms off and beating them with their arms. That game is so much fun. I had a blast playing it, and you definitely get wrapped up and into that world, because while I was playing, I went to throw a bullet that I caught at a blimp just for fun, and I ended up busting a light in my office. But super worth it. I really like that game. That game was surprisingly fun. And with the other shooters that I've played in the past, this one tops them. This is so much more fun. The action is better. The graphics are amazing. There's character. There's personality to it. I was really surprised. That's probably one of my favorite games in VR, except for Vanishing Realms, which is my favorite to date. So I am hoping for more like that. But it was really good and really good game. So overall, I'd say the games that come with the Rift, they give you a really great package of games. Really enjoyable. You can get several hours of gameplay out of the games that just come with the Rift. So is the Rift in the world of virtual reality today, is it worth $399? You're damn right it is. So I highly suggest it. Now, if you want the Vive, whatever, there's not a ton of options out there, but for the price, everything else, it's definitely worth it. You're not going to be upset. And there's one final thing about VR that I think needs to be stated. Because you see on forums and everything else, people saying that VR is a fad and that it'll pass. And they say, just look at the Kinect and look at the Move and look at the Wii controllers and everything else. This is different. This is only for people that have never played VR. Because everyone that puts that headset on realizes how amazing this is. So if you haven't played and you're just kind of thinking about it and you're not sure, you are not going to be disappointed. It is a whole nother world, and it is so freaking cool. So thank you for joining me today and my review of the Oculus Rift. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, criticisms about this video, you can leave them in the comment section down below. You're also more than welcome to subscribe to the channel. You can throw me a like if you liked it. If you don't like it, give me a dislike. I don't care. Does it hurt me? No, it doesn't. So thanks for joining me again, guys, and I appreciate it. And look for the Vive versus Rift video that will be coming out hopefully fairly soon. So we'll see you guys later, and thanks for checking out Thaco Gamers. So take care. Have a good one. Goodbye.
To the next objective. Our enemy's plans may become evident if we can analyze enough functioning robots.
There you go.